iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams, race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Good afternoon, race fans. I was told we got a great one here tonight. It is the cutoff round for the American Sim Racing Club Next Gen Series. Tonight, these drivers taking on the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll find out who the top four are making their way to Homestead to fight for the first championship for the Next Gen Series. Tonight we'll see these drivers do battle here on the high banks of Charlotte as we get ready here for qualifying. Two drivers are locked in to Homestead. That of course is the 951 of Flying Brian Wilderson and Hayden Swank in the 35 machine. Hayden was on a roll here coming into the playoffs. Daytona was a crapshoot. We'll see what he can do here tonight as we get cars getting up to speed. The first car we're taking a look at is the 8 machine, that being piloted by Kyle Munson, and Munson sits above the cut line just 1 point over the 38 machine of Dave Payton. So Kyle Munson a lot on the line here tonight. Kyle Munson off of turn number 4. And the Horizon 8 machine is on the clock here tonight. Like I said, Kyle Munson missed the beginning part of the season, but pointed his way in here just barely enough. With that, he has a big momentum coming into the playoffs with some great top 5 finishes. He tries to continue that here tonight and make his way into the championship, where he has a chance to come home with the trophy after next week. Munson is a series champion with back in the day with the red and blue divisions. He was of course the blue division, I believe the blue or rookie division we had here, and he picked up a championship here at ASRC. Now trying to do the overall, and you can see some colors on the left side of your screen. Red means they're below the cut line, green means they're above, yellow means they're locked in as Munson gets a piece of the wall off at turn number 4. That will disallow this lap. Actually, no, that does allow. He just barely kept it off it. Probably not an inch in between Kyle Munson. Sits P number 3, Ron Hart. Right now, quick time at the top of your board. Also out on the track, we got the 48 Skull machine. That being piloted by the Tim Rogers. Tim Rogers out here tonight. He sits below the cut line, so Rogers looking for that win to lock himself in, as he needs He's in a must-win scenario here tonight. Other drivers in must-wins is Nate Henry and the 59 machine. Henry puts his machine P number 5 right now. Also another driver that probably needs to win is the 00 machine, Deontay here. He sits P number 9. Same with probably Zach Rush. He sits 10 point out. The next driver that could maybe point his way in, depending on the crazy situations, is Dev McDonald. He sits 9 below the cutoff line as Tim Rogers hits the start finish line here. He will go P number 9 at the start finish line. So Rogers, not the qualifying effort he wanted to see, but we'll see what he can do on this lap. Rogers lap number 1 puts him a 30.87. We'll see what lap number 2 can do as he now paints that white and blue yellow line through 1 and 2. 3 and 4 just misses a little bit, about 3/4 of a car length off that line. We'll see what Rogers can do as he hits the start finish line. Zach Heiser with a flyer. Tim Rogers to the top of the board. We saw that lap live, folks. And now Tanner Tallarico just beats him out with a 30.35. So it goes Tallarico, Rogers, Heiser, Hart, McDonald as it sits for the top 5. So a lot of great qualifying efforts, but Tanner Tallarico showing what he has there. As Zach Heiser, great lap from him. He will roll off P number 3. As it looks like that will do it here for qualifying. So Tim Rogers, it's Joey Beck in the 24 machine goes P number 3. He's got the 9 Chase Elliott Napa Auto Parts on the car. Joey Beck with a great lap there. That will put him in the top 3. I thought we were just about wrapped up in qualifying. I was proven wrong, as top 3 now looks like Tallarico, Rogers, and Beck. But Tanner Tallarico walks away here tonight at Charlotte with the quick time, getting ready to go for our feature event. We take a look now at the playoff grid on our screen here, folks. That is the difference. That 90 laps is the distance here tonight for these drivers to try and figure out where they are gonna end up. As Hayden Swank locked in, Wilderson locked in, Hart sits 2 points above the cutoff line, Munson sits 1, Dave Payton 1 back, Dev McDonald sits 9 back, Zach Rush 10 back, Hewer 15 back, Tim Rogers 41 back, Brandon Marlowe sits 42 back, Nate Henry sits 43, and Stephen Hoffman sits 73 as we now head down to trackside to go over tonight's starting lineup for this 15-car field for playoff race number 3 and the cutoff race to our championship. Leading the field to the green flag will be the number 1 machine of Tanner Tallarico. Has that Sunoco from Cutlerville, Michigan on the car. He will lead us to green. Then to his outside, it's a Skull Bandit Chevy 48. That being piloted by Tim Rogers. Row number 2, Joey Beck in the 24 on the scoring, or the 9 Napa Auto Parts machine will roll off P number 3. Then back and forth, it's the ASRC Horsepower Happenings number 14 Chevy Camaro. That is Zach Heiser. Then we head to row number 5, 1 driver sitting above the cut line. It's the 51 Ron the Hitman Hart, starting to his outside, a guy that needs a win. It's the 18 Worldwide Machine. Dev McDonald will roll off P number 6. Then we head to P number 7. That is Flying Brian Wilderson, locking himself in. He's only racing for a win here tonight as he is locked in to the next round. Rolling off P number 8. He sits 1 point below the cut line. It's the 38 Pinkerton machine. That is Dave Payton. Starting in P number 9, it's a 59 Chevy Camaro. That being piloted by Nate Henry, sponsored by Advance Auto Parts. Then we head to our top 10 round out. Kyle Munson and the number 8 Horizon machine. Our Ford Mustang driver, 1 of 2 here tonight. He will roll off 10th. 11th going to Hayden Swank in the 35. 12th will be Zach Rush. Then 13th is William Hitzman in the 54. Deontay here in the 00 machine will roll off 14th. And John DeMeester in the Blue Deuce will round out the starting field here tonight. as these drivers get ready to rock and roll here. We got the field rolling down the backstretch. As these drivers gonna go the distance, 90 laps, the scheduled distance here tonight. These drivers, a lot to have in store. One driver that wants to stay to the front. He's starting on the front row. Tim Rogers needs a win to lock himself into the playoffs. Ron Hart needs a good race here tonight. He will roll off 5th. Same with Kyle Munson. He'll roll off 10th. Driver needing a great night. Dave Payton in the 38 will roll off 8th. As the iRacing pace car heads down pit road, Tanner Tallarico in the Sunoco #1 machine leads the field to the green flag. Off a turn number 4 through the restart zone. You see Barney waving the flag. We go green flag racing here at Charlotte. And the field will now dive down into turn number 1, 2x2 throughout the field here tonight. Tanner Tallarico leading the way over Tim Rogers. Joey Beck with a great run. He'll stay glued to the back bumper of the one machine. Almost 3 wide. Devin McDonald thinks to go to the outside of Heiser. He'll back out of it since it's only lap number 1. Through 3 and 4, the field will come. Joey Beck on the loud pedal. He wants this race lead, but at the start finish line, it will be Beck by a nose. Joey Beck leads lap number 1 here at Charlotte. The field roaring down here, 3 and 4. Almost contact there between Wilderson and the 14 of Zach Heiser. That was close through 1 and 2. Now down the backstretch, you see the snake of cars go. John DeMeester in the back, kind of maybe losing a little bit of draft. And here we go, folks. 3 wide racing action, almost. As now the field tries to sort themselves off of turn number 4. Devin McDonald keeps on sniffing the outside of Zach Heiser. He wants to get to that top side here in a hurry. We'll have to see if he can make his way up that side or not, as he continues to stay glued right to the back bumper of that 14 machine. Right now, top 3 single file down. Now first side-by-side is for 3rd. Ron Hart trying to defend that spot from his teammate Zach Heiser, trying to make the run on the top side. Brian Wilderson trying to keep a hold of that wild 951 machine. We saw him out of sorts here twice already in the first 4 laps. Wilderson's got to keep those tires underneath him here. A long race, 90 laps, still 85 to go. As we see some more side-by-side through 3 and 4. They have stayed side-by-side. Now Zach Heiser, can he get clear of Ron Hart by the time they get down to turns number 1 and 2? It looks like yes, he will. So Heiser will drop down in front of his teammate Zach Heiser up to P, back up to P number 4. Devin McDonald now around Ron Hart for 5th. Ron Hart probably trying to save some stuff in that 51 machine. Looks like Brian Wilderson has the same game plan. They stay locked up nose to tail here, as Wilderson maybe trying to look to the inside of Ron Hart. Wilderson maybe thinking Hart's saving a little bit too much, as he does get to the inside of the 51 machine into turns number 1 and 2. So Ron Hart playing the long game here. He's trying to save as much Goodyear tire on that 51 machine as he can. That time by Joey Beck. Quickest out of the field, a 30.38. Beck says it's go time from the drop of the green. He's got about 3/4 of a second lead over Tanner Tallarico in second, and then about a half a second gap to Tim Rogers, who has some fast cars right on his tail here once again. That time by quickest car on the track is the 951 machine of Wilderson. I think he might have had some draft help catching back up to this pack. So Wilderson getting that car sorted out, and now very quick here tonight at Charlotte. As further on back, Dave Payton now trying to get around the Advance Auto Parts number 59 machine of Nate Henry. Payton down low, Henry up top here down the backstretch. So some action-packed racing as we head back up side by side as well. One car sideways in the tribal. That is Nate Henry. Kind of spinning, but keeps it rolling. Nate Henry, not what he wanted here early in this race. He's in a must-win scenario and now sits P number 15 as he gets sideways through the tribal. Not sure if he had contact or not. As further on up, Zach Heiser gets up to P number 3. Tim Rogers falls back to 4th as Deb McDonald and Brian Wildison side by side behind the 48 machine. McDonald will push Rogers into turn number 1, and McDonald gets a good piece of the wall there in turns 1 and 2. You got to wonder how that arrow is affecting these cars. In the recent update, did get a little bit stronger here, so you got to wonder how that 18 is handling, because he did bounce it off the wall pretty good, but we saw in the real life Charlotte race, you could hit this wall a ton and still be able to drive these things away. Further on back, Hot Munson trying to get around Dave Payton. Payton back in the top 10. He sits 9th as Hayden Swank tries to charge through the field. Right now, Swank, biggest mover, only up 3 spots, so not a lot of positions change here early in this race. So everyone single files on out here for a little bit. Everyone running their own race at the moment. Trying to click down these laps and get closer to that 90 lap distance mark. Looks like Nate Henry does bring that thing pit side and call it a day. So Nate Henry with extensive rear damage will call it a night, and he will not make the final 4. As we head up to the front, Joey Beck continues to lead the way. Now under half a second advantage over the 1 car of Tanner Tallarico. Tallarico about a 10th faster last lap, this time by Tallarico. Once again, another 10th quicker, so Tallarico running down our race leader here tonight. As further on back side by side, Deontay here and Zach Rush go side by side here for position number 11 here tonight. Looks like Hero does take over that spot. Also, first time starter here tonight, Joey Beck, one of them. Another driver, this 54 machine, Will Hitzman in the M&M's 54 out here running his race here. His goal, I talked to him a little bit before tonight. He's just looking to get to the finish, try and get as good of a finish as he can get. He was having a little bit of throttle issues, but sounds like right on board with him, he's got that thing figured out, and he's trying to see what that 54 has in this long run. We go back up further. Battle for 4th. It's a 4-car battle here. Ron Hart turning up the wick. 3 wide on the front stretch here. Ron Hart will back on out of it. Now Tim Rogers trying to get around that 18 machine. And you got to wonder how that handling is on the 18 here. We saw him get that wall in turns 1 and 2. And he seems to be dropping here just a little bit. Right now about 2/10 off the cars around him. That could be because he was on the top lane, but still, that 18 machine not as fast as the cars that just got around him. Now Ron Hart turning back up the wick. He says, let me go, try and push these tires, see what he had saving in the tank. He gets around Tim Rogers for P number 5. Up in front, we had a pass for the race lead. Tanner Tallarico takes over the point here on lap number 16. So Tallarico back up in the lead. He's going to try and set sail here as he gets around Beck. Zach Heiser has a little bit of buffer over Brian Wildison. Now Wildison under fire from Ron Hart. He gets to the inside. Ron Hart will dive it down in turn number 1. Clear the 951 on corner entry. So Ron Hart is on the charge here, folks. Does he have enough? He's about 2.5 seconds back from the race leaders. Does he have enough in the tank to reel them on in? As old Zach Heiser pushing this car to the limit, using every inch of racetrack. I think he might have just scraped the wall, taking off a little bit of that right rear quarter panel Pro late model decal as he was a little sideways off of turn number 4. Maybe that handling on the 14 machine starting to fade already. Teammates go side by side here through 3 and 4. Heiser up top. Ron Hart down low. Looks like Ron Hart will clear the 14 off of turn number 4. Ron Hart in the top 3 now. Further on back, Hayden Swank gets around Deb McDonald, bringing in Dave Payton right in tow here. As further on up, you see Zach Heiser trying to defend that 4 spot from flying Brian Wilderson. Deb McDonald once again on the top side of the speedway. Kyle Munson and the 8 Horizon machine trying to get around him for P number 9. As up front, towards the front I should say, Brian Wilderson trying to get around the 14 of Zach Heiser. Looks like we'll clear him and shut the door down the backstretch. Heiser right in tow here of Wilderson, but to his inside now will get filled on up with the 48 machine of Tim Rogers. Rogers now trying to get around Heiser. This will put Rogers back up in the top 5 here tonight at Charlotte. Kyle Munson and Deb McDonald still side-by-side battle for this number 9th position. Neither of these drivers want to give it on up, and pretty even between the two as they race down the backstretch here. Kyle Munson has the advantage here in turns number 3. Off of turn number 4, he will clear the pass. Munson with a great corner there. He will get clear by a few car lengths. As you got to wonder, did McDonald not get that car rotated as he liked, had to wait on the throttle? That's what it looked like here from the booth. So now everyone very spread on out here tonight at Charlotte. Tanner Tallarico leads the way in the number 1 machine. Joey Beck in second in this Napa, number 9 or 24 on the scoring. He sits about half a second behind Tallarico. Then a 2-second gap to Ron Hart. So Hart closed about half a second here so far. So Ron Hart a little bit faster than the leaders, about 2/10. So Hart continues to eat away at the race lead. He could be charging here towards the back. Also battles here for some positions. Hayden Swank getting around the 14 of Zach Heiser. And here comes Dave Payton. Payton has been letting Swank cut through this field. He's just been following right behind. Make sure those gaps don't get closed by the time he gets there. Battle for 7th right here on the speedway. And looks like through turns 1 and 2, Dave Payton will clear Zach Heiser. As up front, the battle for the race lead is now on. The gap just under 2/10 of a second between Tallarico and Beck. So we could have a battle for the race lead here on lap number 25 of 90. Not sure if Tanner Tallarico was searching that time, or maybe Joey Beck is, as Beck goes to the top lane. Tallarico stays down to the bottom, and Beck gets a great run here down the backstretch. Further on back, Tim Rogers trying to get around flying Brian Wilderson for P number 4. Rogers and Wilderson almost make contact there off of turn number 2. They keep it facing the right direction, and Rogers has to reset up that 951. He has to do it in a hurry as Hayden Swank is catching these two in front of him. So far, clean and green so far for our cutoff race. Playoff race number 3, as next week we'll see these drivers go to the season finale at Homestead to crown the next gen champion here. As now Kyle Munson trying to get around Zach Heiser for P number 8. They go side by side down the front stretch here. Munson down low, Heiser up top. So you gotta wonder, how killed are those tires on that 14 machine? He has been falling on back ever since that great run from the start here earlier today. They stay side by side through 3 and 4, but the battle for 4th is on. Tim Rogers to the inside of Brian Wilderson. They go side by side here as they dive it down into turn number 1. Rogers down low, Wilderson up top. Brian Wilderson trying to find some grip and some speed up top, as it looks like he'll have the advantage down the backstretch. But Tim Rogers can throw this 48 machine a little bit deeper into turn number 3 if he wants. He does not. He's going for that exit speed as they come off of turn number 4. Almost make contact there once again. These guys stuck side by side. Opens up the door for Hayden Swank, who has closed rapidly now on these two. Swank about 2 car lengths back to the back bumper of the 48 machine. As we see the battle here, Rogers trying to get around Wilson here quickly so that he doesn't lose the spot to Hayden Swank. Up front, Tanner Tallarico about a quarter-second advantage over Joey Beck. As we see the battle coming to us, it's going to be a 4-car battle. There goes the leaders right below us, and here's that 4-car battle. Hayden Swank looks to the inside of Tim Rogers. They go side by side here down the backstretch. Swank down low. Rogers trying to find some speed up top. He's going to try and use what he learned from Wilderson rolling that top side and prevent Swank from getting on around him. But Swank with a great run off at turn number 4. He will get the spot here, and here comes Dave Payton. He's been doing it all race. Continues to do his almost contact there in turns 1 there is between Swank and Rogers. I don't think Swank thought Rogers was going to have that big of a run. They make pretty close to contact if they did not make contact there. Up front here, battle for a second. Joey Beck has been caught from the 51 machine. Here comes Ron the Hitman Hart. He goes to the inside here in turns 1 and 2. Beck will put it right against the fence up top. Joey Beck with a great run down the backstretch here. Ron Hart not able to stay side by side with the 9 there. As Ron Hart right on the back bumper of Joey Beck. Further on back, Hayden Swank does get around Brian Wilderson for P number 4. Once again, Beck goes up to the top side. Ron Hart down low, 1 car rolling off of pit road. That is the 54 machine of Will Hitzman. He made a early pit stop. We'll see if those tires pay off. I think he's trying for a 3-stop strategy as another car down pit road. That's the 14 machine of Zach Heiser. Battle for second, though, side by side down the front stretch. Ron Hart trying to keep a nose below him, but Joey Beck slams the door shut. Joey Beck finding some speed in an alternate line and making it work. One driver loving what he sees behind him. Tanner Tallarico says, you guys keep on battling, as that will allow him to get further on away. As further on back here, we got some lap traffic involved as Tim Rogers trying to get around the 951 of Brian Wilderson. He's been working on this pass for a while, trying to complete it down the front stretch here. This will put Rogers back in the top 5 if he's able to complete it. Rogers up top, Wilderson down low, and right behind him they have Dave Payton trying to pick the preferred line as Wilderson will slam the door. Tim Rogers finally gets around that 951 machine. Ron Hart also finally gets around the 9 on the car, the 24 in the time and scoring Joey Beck. So now Ron Hart sets his sights on our race leader, Tanner Tallarico. How much has Tallarico been saving out in front? Does Ron Hart have enough to get on around him? As with a kind of, we see the racing on the left side of our screen, folks, and to the right is our playoff standings. That's how we sit here coming into tonight. We have a little bit to go, and so far it is a very tight one, to say the least. as Ron Hart needs a great finish. He sits in a great spot right now. He sits P number 2, so that moves him above the cutoff line. But the battle for that last spot, Dave Payne, Kyle Munson separated by 1 point. They're separated by 1 position there. Payton sits 7th. 8th is Kyle Munson, so Payton needs to get around one of these 2 drivers, and he is then in the green here, so a lot to be raced for as Tim Rogers feeling the pressure from Brian Wildison. Here comes Dave Payton to try and get that 1 extra point and get above the cut line here. Brian Wildison, of course, locked in here tonight. Wildison can afford a average finish here as he's locked on in. Same with Hayden Swink, but Swink sits P number 4. He's trying to catch the back bumper of Beck. Dave Payne, looks like Brian Wildison misses the bottom, so here comes Payne down low. They'll drag race down the backstretch here. Side by side they go. Battle for the race lead closing on up as well. Some guys lower in the standings taking some gambles here on some pit stops. Devin McDonald down pit road. Same with the Blue Deuce of John DeMeester, also down pit road. Zach Heiser out here on the speedway. He's about at least 1 second, and some cars 2 seconds quicker than the cars on the track. So Heiser, best runner right now that did come down pit road. He sits P number 11. We jump up to the front here. Ron Hart giving Tanner Tallarico a run for the money here as we close in on the halfway point of our cutoff race for the playoffs. One car kind of blinking on out there, having a little bit of technical difficulties, is the 54 machine, trying to get a lap back from these race leaders. The 54 of Will Hitzman did come down pit road, got some new tires, and you can see how quick he is on that top side. As watch out leaders, they make some evasive maneuvers, as that was almost bad there, as that could have gave a big advantage to Ron Hart there. But now Ron Hart sits side by side with the 54 here off of turn number 4. Dave Payne catching the back bumper here of Tim Rogers. But further on back, Munson catching Brian Wildison. So Payne trying to make as much distance between him and Munson, but they seem to be on very similar paces here the last couple laps. As we see Dave Payne here further on back, Kyle Munson goes to the outside of Wildison. Wildison brings the 951 machine down pit road. He's trying to cut this race in half. And then we head up to the front, one car rolling off the pit road. That's a 00 machine of Deontay Hearer. He's come down pit road as well. Battle for the race lead here. Ron Hart to the inside of Tanner Tallarico. These two going side by side here to the start finish line. Ron Hart trying to lead the first lap for himself of this race, and he'll do just that. Ron Hart leads that time by. So if you're the one of Tanner Tallarico, I think you come down pit road here pretty soon. You just lost the race lead to Ron Hart. You try and undercut him here as quickly as you can, as Ron Hart starts to check on out to the one machine. Let's see if Tallarico does come down pit road and cut this race in half. He stays on out here for another lap. But this time by for the 51, he'll see cross flags here. Halfway down, halfway home for the 51 of Ron Hart. Hart sits 2 points above the cutoff line, so he needed a great race, and he's doing just that. He can give all worries away if he does win this race and lock himself on in. He's currently the highest driver here in the cutoff, but a lot still could happen as Kyle Munson does get around Tim Rogers for that 6th position. So Munson now trying to chase down Dave Payne. Both of them tied for that last playoff spot. Ron Hart now encountering some lap traffic. Deontay here goes by in the 00 machine. And Hitzman in the 54 trying to get on around, get that lap back as well. How much longer do these race leaders stay on out on track? It looks like they're trying to go the long distance, trying to go till this fuel tank's almost empty. Then slap on some 4 fresh sticker Goodyear tires and try and race down these guys that have undercut them already. One driver we'll keep an eye on for the undercut is Brian Woodison, last time by a 30.44. The leaders are right about a 32-second lap, so about a second and a half quicker with those fresh tires is Brian Woodison. He's about 2 seconds back from Zach Heiser, our best finishing driver. And now we see Tanner Tallarico in the 1 car undercutting Ron Hart for the race lead. He rolls it down pit road. Also, Tim Rogers joins him down the very slow pit road. If you're Ron Hart, I think you're coming in this time by not let Tanner Tallarico get too far on the tire advantage. But Ron Hart doing a great job saving those tires, and that's exactly what Ron Hart's doing. The 51, our race leader, down pit road here tonight. That hands over the race lead to Hayden Swank in the 35 machine. Also down pit road, Joey Beck and Dave Payton. Payton trying to undercut Kyle Munson. Munson and Swank, only 2 cars out on track that have not pitted yet here on lap 50. So Hayden Swank getting some lap traffic. Zach Rush trying to get a lap back. This could prevent Swank from pitting this lap, but Swank will bring it all the way down from the top side to the apron. Hayden Swank down pit road, locks him on up, trying to get him to pace speed. Kyle Munson also down this time by in the A Horizon machine. Ron Hart rolling off of pit road here, and we got to keep an eye here as Ron Hart almost loses it off of pit road. He cannot make a mistake like that. As you see Zach Heiser going on by Brian Woodison and Tanner Tallarico. So those are their cars Ron Hart is racing. Heiser sits about 2 seconds in front. Tanner Tallarico about 3/4 of a second advantage, as we see now Hayden Swank rolling off of pit road. We'll see what Swank shakes on out here towards the front. As you see that battle for the race lead going on by Brian Woodison, gets around Zach Heiser there for the race lead. So it goes Woodison, Heiser, Tallarico, Hart, and it looks like Hayden Swank rounds out the top 5 there after the shakeup on pit road. Kyle Munson with a great stop there. He will come out in front of this group that is very fast, catching him in a hurry. That being Joey Beck, Devin McDonald, and the guy Munson has to beat, Dave Payne, sits right there behind the AT machine. So a lot to be racing for here in this group. I tell you what, folks, we'll keep an eye on this battle because this could have big time playoff implications. As Joey Beck gets big time sideways off of turn number 4, he somehow hangs onto that car 3 wide here, as now Dev McDonald tries to go around the 8 of Kyle Munson. So McDonald and Munson side by side here in turns 1 and 2. Beck, those tires got to be hot, but he is back in hot pursuit of the number 8 machine. They go side by side down the backstretch, and Munson trying to defend the spot, not let these guys go on by. Joey Beck forces the issue. He'll go 3 wide here off the corner and try and get around Devin McDonald here in that 18 machine. Somehow no one wrecked in this battle, and here comes Joey Beck here back trying to get around the 8 machine of Kyle Munson. He'll get to the inside left rear quarter panel of the number 8 Horizon machine down the backstretch. Zach Heiser back down pit road trying to make this a 2-stop race. We'll see how that shakes on out for the 14 machine, as it looks like Kyle Munson will probably get passed by the number 9 on the car of Joey Beck, and Beck will complete the pass there for P number 5. Dave Payne still stuck behind Deb McDonald. You got to wonder, how is the dirty air affecting this 38 machine? Or maybe is he saving a little bit, knowing we got some time to the end and trying to outsave the number 8 of Kyle Munson in front of him. Dave Payne needing to get around Munson and one other car that will tie him for the cutoff line, but Payne needs to get around 1 plus 1 more, so he needs to get around 2 cars, separate him and Munson. Dave Payne makes the final 4. Zach Heiser in the 14 machine rolls back off pit road. Has trouble for our outside pole sitter Tim Rogers. Sits 3 laps down. I believe he had a penalty that he had to serve. So it goes Brian Wilderson, about a 2.25 advantage over Tanner Tallarico, who sits 2nd. Ron Hart in 3rd, trying to chase down that 1 car. Ron Hart having 1 lap fresher tires than the one of Tanner Tallarico. Hayden Swank sits P number 4, and Joey Beck, quickest lap by anyone in the session last time by Joey Beck, pushing that Napa machine hard to try and catch the cars in front of him. Beck has a lot of gap though to try and catch it in. These two racing, gonna be racing very hard. A lot on the line for these two between Payne and Munson. One car spinning down on the apron. That is Zach Heiser in the 14 machine. He tries to get that thing going in the right direction, and we get the yellow flag here for the first time here tonight. Zach Heiser losing control of the car here in 3 and 4, and a big slide by him. Luckily kept it off those pit barrels, but does make significant contact to that outside wall, and that will be enough to bring out our first yellow here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So now this throws a wrench in everyone's plan. 30 laps from here on out. It's going to be everyone comes down, takes some fresh tires, and it's going to be interesting to see who saves from here and who pushes the envelope. As with this yellow, we're going to keep an eye here on pit road as we see everyone catching the pace car here tonight. So Brian Wilderson with that short pit working out in his favor. He will lead the field down to pit road with a great strategy call from the crew chief on top of the 951 pit box. Brian Wilderson leads the field down on pit road. Now this could be the money stop, but now it's going to get hectic after this restart as we see everyone on the lead lap coming on down pit road. We'll keep an eye on pit road, see who wins the race off of pit road. Joey Beck misses his stall a little bit, had to throw that car in reverse. Beck's not going to have a good pit stop there. As the race is on here, Brian Wilderson rolling here. Hayden Swank, big time tire spin out of that car. Dave Payne will beat Munson by a lot off of pit road, so Payne getting the great pit stop that he needed. He'll roll off 5th, but Brian Wilderson leads the race off of pit road. Tanner Tallarico 2nd, Ron Hart 3rd, Hayden Swank 4th, and Dave Payne rounds out the top 5 here off the pits. We'll be right back after commercial break. On the other side, we'll come back with coming to green here in the closing stages of our cut-off race. As we come back live here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, we take a look at the playoff standings there to your left, folks, and a lot on the line for these drivers here tonight. As right now, Ron Hart sits above the cutoff line. Same with Kyle Munson, but only 1 point. Right now, Dave Pay and Kyle Munson separated by 3 spots, so if the race were to end right now, Dave Payne makes the Final Four and races for a championship next week at Homestead. Munson going to have to do some work here on this restart. Brian Woodison leading the field. He's already locked in. Ron Hart sits 2 points above the cut line. He'll roll off third. Hayden Swank in fourth, already locked on in. So the guys in the front, a little bit of pressure taken off their shoulders here, but this time by here, I believe at the start finish line, we should see the 1 to go signal. Tim Rogers will get one of those laps back here tonight, as the lights will get extinguished out there around the speedway and on the iRacing pace car. So the field being led by Brian Woodison, Tanner Tallarico to his outside on the start. Off of turn number 4, the field will come. Brian Woodison leading the field to the green flag. Tanner Tallarico to his outside, and these guys ready to do battle in the final 30 laps. Brian Woodison on the loud pedal here. He'll go through the sequential gearbox and get a great start. Tanner Tallarico now side by side with Ron Hart here as they dive down into turns number 1. Tallarico up top, Hart down low. Hayden Swank now trying to get a nose to the inside of the 1 as Ron Hart will shut the door hard down the backstretch. Ron Hart now tries to set up Woodison, and Woodison trying to drive away as Hayden Swank missed the bottom. That moves the 1 car there all the way close to the top side here. So side by side racing for P number 3 here at the moment. Tanner Tallarico trying to defend that spot from Hayden Swank. Swank still committed to that inside lane here tonight. So it goes Woodison, Hart, then Hayden Swank just by a splitter that time by. And behind them, they got a field of hungry cars right behind, trying to figure out what lane is going to be the one to move as Hayden Swank gets big time loose off of turn number 2. And further on back, contact as Zach Rush goes into the inside wall. He'll come to a sliding stop. Another car involved. It looks like the 54 machine, but it looks like everyone keeps it rolling here tonight. So we get inside of 25 to go, 24 to go at the line. Here comes Joey Beck. Joey Beck having a lot of short run speed, and he's trying to make it work here tonight. As 1 car big time sideways down the backstretch, that is Devin McDonald. He'll get in piece of the inside wall, shoot up on the track, and bring out our second caution. We saw how aggressively those guys were racing. They know it's the end of the race, and that was big time contact to that inside wall. We take a look here off of turn number 4 between McDonald and Swank. They make contact. I think McDonald thought Swank was going to be more towards the wall. Swank thought McDonald was going to be further on down, and they just met in the middle there. That sends McDonald with a hard hit to the inside wall. So big time contact there for these drivers. As we are under our second yellow flag. Also further on back, we're going to take a look at the replay between Zach Rush and Rogers. Kind of similar thing that we saw bring out the yellow. Rush and Rogers make contact in the 54, nowhere to go, and that sends Rush hard impact to that inside wall. That one did not bring out a yellow flag. So now the question is, do drivers come on down pit road or do they stay on out on the speedway? So a lot to be decided here tonight as Devin McDonald's playoffs hopes probably get erased with that one. Hayden Swank also down on pit road trying to get some repairs done. As you see the damage to the right side, Swank can afford a bad race as he is locked into the playoffs. As the field sits under pace, these pace laps gotta feel very long for these drivers here tonight. As Brian Wilderson did a great job defending, Ron Hart now gets to start on that outside lane. We saw how difficult it was for the one at Talarico to get a good run. We'll have to see how Ron Hart fares on that top side. And then that battle for the last transfer spot, Kyle Munson, Dave Payne will line up side by side on this restart. So a lot going on here, folks. As when we go back green flag racing, we will be under 20 laps here to go. As this time by, the drivers should pick their respective lines and get ready to try and go back green flag racing action. The field raring to go back racing. Hayden Swank catching the back of the field with extensive repairs to that car. Looks like Jack Rush, his night's done. He's on pit road. As flying Brian Wilderson leads the way here. Ron the Hitman Hart will start to his outside. Tanner Tallarico road number 2 with Joey Beck. The iRacing pace car makes the hard left-hand turn down pit road, and Brian Wilderson approaches the restart zone. Through the trial of the field come Brian Wilderson on the loud pedal here. We go back, green flag, racing action as Ron Hart gets a way better start than Tallarico did on that top side. Ron Hart tries to stay side by side for the race lead as they dive through turns 1 and 2. Wilderson has the point up top, but leads the door open for Hart. Here comes Hart on the top side. Ron Hart trying to push that 51 machine with those new tires. He goes all the way, catches a piece of the wall. He hangs onto that race car somehow. Ron Hart now Tanner Tallarico side by side for second. As Wilderson continues to lead the way, now Tallarico to the inside of Wilderson. Side by side, first 2 rows here as they come off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch. Dan McDonald back out on the speedway. He's trying to make up as many spots. He's hoping for something crazy and give himself a win to lock on in. Here comes Ron Hart making it 3 wide. He forces his way down to this inside lane, inside of Brian Wilderson. Now Tallarico leads the point. Here comes Ron Hart in turns number 1. He'll back up his corner though, not push up from that blue and white inside line. Oh, it's more contact there between Hart and Wilderson. That shoots Wilderson up the speedway. Now Joey Beck to the inside of the 951. Wilderson's getting tossed all around here. He's fallen. He's led the field to the green flag, but has not seen it since. He's getting dropped like a rock. Not in that preferred lane. It seems like on fresh tires, you want to be on that inside lane as Dave Payton now tries to get that 1 spot difference between him and Munson. Brian Wilderson, Joey Beck side by side. Beck gets sideways as we get a yellow. Few cars spinning there. Deonta Hura in the grass. Same with the 24 Beck. Beck gets it back rolling as I believe the 54 machine of Hitzman facing the wrong direction on the speedway. That will be our 3rd yellow here tonight. We take a look here as Hitzman and McDonald just made contact there. Deb McDonald to the left rear of Hitzman, and Tim Rogers nowhere to go. He hits the front end of that 54 machine and then hard contact to that inside wall. Tim Rogers looking for a win here tonight. Looks like that probably won't happen. So Tim Rogers' playoffs hopes probably coming to an end here with 15 to go. Hitzman race on pit road. That is a bummer to see as we see what kind of strategy the field has. Tallarico stays out. Everyone behind him comes down pit road except for Kyle Munson. Munson stays out here on the speedway. Looks like Munson, Swank, and McDonald all elect to stay out on the speedway. The rest of the field down on pit road. Who will win the race off of pit road of the drivers that come? That being led by Ron Hart and the 54 machine. And it looks like Ron Hart does win the race off of pit road. Dave Payton with a slower stop, so he'll restart towards the middle of this pack. But Tanner Tallarico does not come down pit road and will lead 4 cars on older tires. About 10 lap difference between these drivers that pitted and the ones that did not. Sorry, 15 laps as Hayden Swank, Devin McDonald both down last time, so they have about a 5 lap difference to the driver of the 51 machine, Ron Hart. First car on the fresh tires. So this is where it gets wild, folks. Split strategy on the cutoff race here. And when we go back green, we'll just have over 10 laps to go to decide who is our top 4 fighting for a championship next week at Homestead, Miami. That time by, we get the 2 to go signal. So we have a lap and about 3/4 of pace before we go back to green flag racing. Alrighty, folks, the lights are extinguished around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We are going green next time by. We are under our 3rd yellow here tonight. Here, when we go to the start finish line, it will be 11 laps to go. Top 4 on old tires. Then the first car on brand new is the 5th place driver of Ron Hart. Row number 2, about 10 lap newer tires than the front row. As this is where it gets wild here, folks. Kyle Munson right now easily locked in to the top 4 with that gap to Dave Payton, P number 7, but that could all change depending on these tires and how this race shakes on out. The iRacing pace car makes the hard left-hand turn down to pit road. Once again, the one of Tanner Tallarico leading the field to the restart zone. Just like at the start of this race, Tanner Tallarico on the loud pedal here. Hayden Swank with a big wiggle. They get bunched down up 4 wide here at Charlotte as Ron Hart tries to muscle his way through. These guys wasted no time to try and get around these guys with old tires, as Kyle Munson able to keep that car straight. Same with Hayden Swank. But Dave Payton trying to get around on these fresh tires. Ron Hart, big time bobble down the straightaway. This opens up the door for these cars around him. As we see Kyle Munson, gets tagged in the door by Woodison. These drivers are racing like it's the last lap. But we have that time by at the start finish line, 10 laps to go. Tallarico leading the way over Devin McDonald. McDonald needing a win to lock himself on in. He's 1 spot short here in the closing stages. Does he have enough to catch the 1? Hayden Swank trying to hold off Joey Beck. Beck on the new tires. Best runner on the new tires here at the moment is Beck, trying to get around Swank for P number 3. Tanner Tallarico in push mode. He's trying to increase the gap about 3/4 of a second over Devin McDonald. Fastest lap by anyone all race last time by from the 1 machine. Tanner Tallarico says, it's time to light the candle. We're turning up the heat. Further on back, Kyle Munson does get past. Not quite by Dave Payne just yet. These two side by side here, so Payne needs a gap of 2 cars to lock himself in front of Kyle Munson. Munson knowing he's racing for a shot at the Final Four. Same with Payton as they go down the backstretch here side by side. Munson does clear Payton, comes right across the nose of the 38 machine. Munson now misses the bottom though off the corner. Payton trying to pedal that car back up to the back bumper of the 8. A lot to race for in this group. Payton's got to hope he can get around the 8 of Munson here in a hurry and bring Brian Wilderson with him, maybe even Deontay here. If not, Payton's got a long way to go to try and catch either Hart, Swank, or Beck. Joey Beck, Hayden Swank side by side as Ron Hart gets a big piece of the wall off at turn number 4. Beck and Swank door bang there on the front stretch as well. These guys knowing it's the end of the race. These guys racing hard here as once again very close off the corner. Further on back, Payne trying to go the long way around Kyle Munson and almost clear down the backstretch. Now Payne has to do it one more time as Munson gets tight. He has to get that car cut, and it looks like off of turn number 4, Payton will get the spot. Now here comes Brian Wilderson. Munson knows he's got to keep at least one of those cars behind him in the rearview mirror here if he wants to be in the Final Four. Out in front, Tanner Talarico about a 2.25 advantage over Dev McDonald. McDonald seeing the playoff hopes continue to fade as he is not catching our race leader for the win to lock himself in. Now, Brian Wilderson, Kyle Munson side by side here. Munson knows he's got to keep at least the 0-0 behind him here for 4 more laps to lock himself into the playoffs here. Ron Hart all over the back bumper. Actually gets around Hayden Swank for P number 4. So that moves Swank back into P number 5. As Brian Wilderson tries to get around Munson here. Very close racing here with 3 laps to go. Now Deontay Hero goes to the top side. This is not what Munson wanted to see. Munson tried the different strategy, stay on out with those old tires. Not paying off and could cost him a shot at the championship as him and Deontay Hero door bang a little through 1 and 2. Munson will lose the spot. Playoff standings on the right side of your screen. You see Payne 1 spot down coming into tonight. He now has a 2-spot advantage over Kyle Munson. So Dave Payne is right now in the playoffs as long as nothing crazy happens to him. That time by Tanner Talarico. See popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 more laps to go here tonight. As these drivers, Munson wants to see a yellow at some point here before this race finishes. A lot of the other drivers just want to see it go green to the end. Off at turn number 4, Tanner Talarico will see the white flag here. 1 more lap to go around Charlotte for the cutoff race. It is the finale of our regular season playoffs here. As Tanner Talarico with the advantage further on back. Joey Beck trying to get around Dev McDonald for P number 2. McDonald trying to hold on to the podium, talking to me after this race. Beck and Hart dive it down in the corner. They almost make contact, but off of turn number 4, it will be Tanner Talarico picking up the win here. Dev McDonald finished 2nd. Joey Beck hangs on to 3rd. And further on back, Dave Payton makes the Final Four. He'll have a shot at the championship here tonight. He will join Ron Hart, Brian Wilderson, and Hayden Swank. But tonight we'll be talking to the man, Tanner Talarico, adding another notch here in the win column. He picks up the win here at Charlotte. A great rebound from Dev McDonald. We saw him get into the inside wall. He will finish 2nd. Joey Beck, first-time driver here, makes it up to P number 3 as Tanner Talarico on the front stretch here. Gonna do another pace lap maybe, or maybe take it down to turn number 1 to do some burnouts. Tanner Tallarico taking another cool down lap here tonight. As he will bring it back around to the front stretch and get ready to burn it down for all the fans tuning on in here tonight. What a great race we had there, folks. A lot of drama throughout the field, but Tanner Tallarico walking away with the win. We'll be talking to the top three here right after our commercial break. So we're going to wait for Tallarico to burn it down on the front stretch, as it looks like a nice, easy celebration. He'll park her right there at the start-finish line. So we'll be right back after our commercial break with the top three. Alrighty, folks, we come back to Charlotte for some post-race interviews. The first driver we'll be talking to is the 24 in the sim, or the 9 on the car. It is Joey Beck. Joey, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
I got you.
Alrighty, man. Heck of a race. It seemed like that 9 machine had a lot of speed there in the short run. Tell us a little bit about your race in a wild race to that last stint to the checkered.
Yeah, that was a good race there. I mean, we were hauling ass all race, very clean, and I took the lead the first restart, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna save my stuff, and all of a sudden they just keep on flying by me one after one after one. I was just like, uh-oh, because I thought I was saving my tires, but apparently I wasn't, and I got concerned there. But then a couple of cautions came out, and I saw my short run speed. I thought I would have had a shot, but it just didn't play out.
Yeah, a hectic restart there for the final restart of the night. Everyone somehow makes it through mostly clean. But yeah, Joey, that bunched up a lot of people. But you come home on the podium for your first time here at ASRC. I mean, that's got to feel pretty good. Like I said, and you said, you had a lot of speed here tonight at Charlotte.
Yeah, I was just very impressed with just the clean racing that everybody was having. I mean, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, that's what we like to pride ourselves here at ASRC, with some great racing that puts on a lot of action pack. And Joey, did you learn something from that first run? I mean, like you said, you shot out there like a cannon at the start, then faded on back. Did you use that to account? Luckily, we didn't have too many long runs after that.
Yeah, I think I just burnt out my right front a little bit too much in the early run, and yeah, I just took note of that.
Yeah, definitely a lot going on there, and then restarts there at the end. And Joey, you walk away with a third place finish. Do you think we'll see you back in the future? I mean, a great initial run from your first time out here with us.
Yeah, I'll run Homestead next week, and hopefully I'll run for a championship next season.
Yeah, I tell you what, a lot of great drivers, but you park it in the top 3, Joey. Huge congratulations. How about since you're fairly new here, not a lot of fans know about you, what's your sim setup looking like? What do you got for wheel and pedals and whatnot?
I got a pretty basic setup. I just got a normal cockpit here with the Thrustmaster TMX here. So that's pretty much all I got.
Gotcha, man. Doing some great driving with only a TMX, I tell you what. So, Joey, heck of a run for you. Finishing third here tonight. Before we let you go and celebrate the podium finish, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank for this third place finish.
Yeah, I want to thank all of you guys for broadcasting this. You guys do an amazing job broadcasting. I was actually listening the whole race, and you were just doing a phenomenal job out there. So I want to congratulate you on that.
Always appreciate the compliments, Joey, and heck of a job by you. I gotta now point the congratulatory finger towards yourself as a great finish here tonight. I can't wait to see what you have next week at Homestead. Joey, you have yourself a great rest tonight, and we'll catch you here on the flip side.
Yeah, you too, man.
Alrighty, that was our third place finisher. Now we head to our runner-up finisher. That is the 18 machine of Devin McDonald. Devin, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, I got a copy, Brett.
Alrighty, Devin. A tough break for you. Finish second. I know you wanted that win to lock yourself into the playoffs because you're in a must-win scenario. Devin, tell us a little bit about your race and how you're feeling in the runner-up spot here tonight.
Real happy with the second place, I gotta say. Wish we had to get the first to lock ourselves in for Championship 4, but overall it was a pretty good day. Started off a bit bad there in the long run. I didn't have much speed, but overall it was a good run.
Yeah, that was, like you said, Devin, I think a lot of people very much overheating that right front for that long run at first. A lot of drivers struggling with the long run pace, but luckily there at the end, a flurry of yellows there, and then that set up a wild finish, Devin. I mean, that had to be pretty hectic what you saw in your rearview mirror, especially on that restart.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know what happened to the guy in front of me. He must have spun his tires, managed to get in around him, and got in second. But the last lap there, I thought Joey was going to come and pass me and Ron Hart and Hayden Swank, but managed to hold him off.
Yeah, that you did, Devin, with a great call. I mean, that was a great call to stay on out. Luckily, you pitted for tires the lap before because that had enough speed to hold on to that runner-up finish. I mean, overall night, we saw you spin and make hard contact in that inside wall. Somehow that car is drivable, not only drivable, but very fast there at the end as well.
Yeah, it took me a while to get the car dialed in, but towards the end of the race there, I started to get a pretty good groove down. But like I said, overall it was a great second place finish, and Homestead next week, and hopefully do well there too.
Yeah, hopefully. I can't wait to see what this 18 machine has at Homestead. But yeah, you get the rebound award of the night with that incident. We take a look at your left rear there with that heavy damage. And Devin, I got to tip my hat to you. That was an excellent run by you here tonight. Can't wait to see what you have at Homestead. But Devin, before we let you go, I'll ask you, I asked third place, what's your sim setup look like? What do you got for wheel and pedals and whatnot that makes this 18 machine as fast as it is?
All I got is a Logitech G29 set up with the inverted pedals and stuff like that. I'm looking to upgrade very shortly, so hopefully now with the next season coming out, we'll have a new upgrade.
Yeah, that would be a sweet one. I'm saving up for a wheel upgrade myself. So Devin, huge congratulations on the runner-up finish here tonight. That was an awesome run by you. Before we let you go, though, I got to hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank on this 18 machine.
Well, I'd like to thank you, first of all, Brett, for the broadcast and doing everything you do. And I'd like to thank Andrew for putting it all together, and all the ASRC team for making all this happen, making us all race and come back and forth every week.
Alrighty, awesome stuff there, Devin. You have yourself a great rest of the night. Once again, huge congratulations on this runner-up finish.
You too, Brett.
Alrighty, folks, that was our runner-up finisher, Devin McDonald, parking in P number 2 with an awesome rebound. Now we head to our winner circle, Tanner Tallarico. Do you got a copy?
I got a copy, Brett.
Alrighty, man. Well, a wild race to say the least there, Tanner. Tell us a little bit about your race. You kind of, I think, saving your stuff there at the beginning, and then Ron Hart coming like a banshee.
Yeah, that was a roller coaster one for sure. Took the green, and me and Joey had a good little battle there at the beginning. I was joking around with Ron and those guys and talking about how I think Joey and I were just playing cat and mouse. I felt like the entire time, and Ron wasn't telling us, and we weren't aware that he'd been saving tires the whole time. And he just came out of nowhere right there before the green flag pit stop, and he got to the lead right before we came down pit road, and I was able to short pit him by like 1 lap there and kind of leapfrog again. And then Ron and I think we're going to try to save a little bit of tire. I think it was Brian that was leading at the time. He pitted quite a bit before us, so we were just going to try to reel him in. Then the caution came out, and then it was just chaos from there. So just ended up being in the right place at the right time. I'm not usually on the good side of strategy and pit calls. And quite honestly, I didn't really have one. I didn't think anybody was going to pit there at the end, so I just figured we were all staying out. And then, like, the majority of the field pit, and we got lucky. These things don't really fire off all that well on new tires. They tend to bottom out a little bit and kind of push up the track. So I think it actually saved me, a couple laps there after everybody pit and took tires. So unintentional pit strategy, but it worked out, and we'll take it.
Yeah, Tanner, I tell you what, what was going through your mind when you saw that split behind you? Everyone pretty much coming behind you. Luckily, you had a little bit of a buffer as well, though.
As soon as I looked at my mirror and saw that Ron and everybody else were pitting, and Ron was the first one I saw come down pit road, we were in a channel together, and I said some things to Ron that I thought were pretty funny, but I think everybody thinks it's funny now. But no, I mean, it comes down to the wire like that, and you just got to make those decisions. And I mean, ultimately, as the leader, you're kind of the one that's always the odd man out. I feel like when you're leading late in the race like that, everybody's going to just do the opposite, or the majority are going to do the opposite of what the leader does. So I kind of knew something like that might be coming, but I kind of knew we had a race earlier in the season. Couldn't tell you where it was at, but I remember I was in a similar position, not leading, but up front late in the race, and I elected to come down and pit, and I just could not get back to the front of the field to save my life in just that short amount of laps. So basically told myself from there on out, if we get a caution inside of 10 laps to go, and I've got less than 10 laps on my tires, I'm staying out every single time, and stuck to my gut, and it just happened to work out. I think if it would have went green, if that race would have been 15, 20 laps longer, I'm pretty sure that Ron and probably Joey and those guys that ended up pitting there probably would have reeled me back in just because of the difference in tires and whatnot. But, run to the end worked out great, and pit strategy worked out good too, and it just all came together. So, like I said, we'll take it.
Yeah, I think that race that you were mentioning there before about those tires not seeming as big of an advantage was Chicagoland, where
That's right.
Where a lot of drivers, another split race, and it seemed like not too big of an advantage on the tires. So Tanner, you learned from that one. Luckily, some hectic stuff happened behind you on the restart that allowed you to get quite a bit of a gap. And like you said, if there were some more laps, I think you may have been in trouble. But luckily, the race was as long as it was. You park it down in victory lane, Tanner. How's it feel to add another win here?
I needed this one. Real life racing's been a little bit rough the last couple of weeks, and I know this is not even anything close to the same level, but it's just nice to get on here and hang out with your buddies, and even if it is just a virtual win, it still feels good. So cool to do that. I love racing at Charlotte. I tell people all the time these dynamic tracks are amazing. I wish iRacing would have more of them because they just put on spectacular shows. I feel like every single time we go to them. So to be able to pull one off at a dynamic track, it's got multiple grooves and is really, at least in my mind, a little bit more of driver's track where a driver can kind of dictate, what lines they're taking and how they get through the pack and whatnot. It's not necessarily always single file racing. To win these ones, at least to me, feels a little bit more special just because they're a little bit more strategic. But nonetheless, just appreciate it. I'm glad that, I had that good battle there in the beginning with Joey. As I said a minute ago, I got that battle with Ron around halfway, and just thankful to everybody that was running up front. For the most part, we are racing pretty clean and giving a lot of room, and hopefully put on a good show for you, Brett, and everybody watching at home, and everybody that's going to go back and watch the replay. But just had a blast, and not sure I'm going to be able to make the last one next week at Miami, so I was really, really hoping that tonight went pretty well. And if I'm not able to race next week at Miami, I'm at least going to tune in and watch the championship. So good luck to those guys that made it to the Final Four. I know they've been working all season to try to get there, so good luck to them. And hopefully, next week is just as good as this week.
Yeah, I hope so as well, Tanner. That's going to be a barn burner. We have 4 guys going for a championship. Best finisher takes it home. But tonight, Tanner, you walk away with the checkered flag. Before we let you go, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank here, probably if we don't see you for the final time this season.
Yeah, so first and foremost, as you can tell by the car, it's pretty bright and colorful. So that's for Jay at Hometown Sunoco up in Cutlerville, Michigan, just south of Grand Rapids. Not sure if he's going to go back and watch this replay or not. I'm going to be sending him the link, though, so hopefully he does go back and check it out. But again, that's Jay at Hometown Sunoco. I got to say big thanks to Tim at FLF Race Cars, my uncle at Boardwalk Subs, family and friends over at Elif Brothers Roofing, Mike's Custom Garage and Speed Shop, Accurate Inspections, handful of friends from Berlin Raceway that might tune in and watch this, Matt and Zach and Devin, Braden, all those guys. Hopefully they can tune in and check this out. Hopefully see some of them join the league here eventually. I think they are on the fence about joining iRacing and hopefully joining up in the league, which would be amazing. Guys, hopefully you do it and we see you in here before long. But like I say, nonetheless, just want to say good luck to everybody that's going for the championship next week, the top 4. And hopefully they put on a good show, clean, good show to the championship. And congrats to whoever's able to pull it off.
Yeah, I tell you what, Tanner, a lot of people to thank to make this one car fast. And yeah, that Berlin crew always does a great job at the broadcast. You know, if they ever want a huge collab, you know, I might be able to make the trip up there. But Tanner, this night's about you. You park it down in victory lane, add another win to the column. I mean, that's got to feel awesome. Tanner, you have yourself a great rest of the night. And we'll catch you here sometime in the future. You have yourself a great night.
Thanks, Brad. Have a good one.
Alrighty, folks. That was our race winner, Tanner Tallarico, down in victory lane, getting the job done here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So with Tanner winning, that moves the playoff grid like the following. Hayden Swank is there. Brian Wilderson is there. Ron Hart is going to race for a championship. Same with Dave Payne. Payne gets enough tonight to be racing for a championship as we head over to our race results from our cutoff race. Tanner Tallarico in the 1 picks up the win. Deb McDonald with a great rebound will finish runner-up. 3rd going to Joey Beck in the 24 and the 9 on the car. 4th place and moving on till next week is Ron Hart in the 51. Hayden Swank in the 35 rounds out the top 5. 6th going to Dave Payne in the 38. He will also race for a spot at that championship. Brian Wilderson in the 951 finished 7th. 8th going to Deontay Hero in the 00. 9th going to Kyle Munson, coming oh so close. He will not be racing for a championship next week. A heartbreak for that team. Rounding out the top 10 is the Blue Deuce of John DeMeester. 11th is Tim Rogers in the 48. 12th is Will Hitzman in the 54. 13th is Zach Heiser in the 14. 14th is Zach Rush in the 82. And rounding out the starting field tonight is the 59 of Nate Henry. Guys, I got to say, be sure to tune in next week as we have the season finale. Those 4 drivers racing for a championship. You won't want to miss it. We'll be same place, Turn 3 Racing Network, going live at 9. Be sure to tune in at Turn 3 throughout the week as we have a lot of great racing, a lot of great broadcasters covering a lot of great iRacing series. You won't want to miss it. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth from Turn 3, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.